Now recently iShares has come out with 3 new ultra low holdings ETFs. They have the QTOP iShares Nasdaq Top 30 Stocks ETF. It invests in the top 30 stocks from the Nasdaq 100 index. Then they also launched the QXNT, the iShares Nasdaq 100X Top 30 ETF. This invests in the Nasdaq 100, but it removes the top 30 largest companies. Then they also came out with TOPT, which is the iShares Top 20 US Stocks ETF. And this invests in the top largest companies from the S&P 500 index. So looking at this, I'm just thinking, what other ETFs have less than 100 stocks, and how has the performance been over time? So I'm going to look at that. Now, these are too new to actually look at the performance because they only launched in October of 2024. So I'm going to look at some other ones. Okay, so I've added all of the ETFs to this chart here in TradingView, and I've looked at the percentages in tech for each of these. So the highest percentage tech is probably going to be the highest performer. So if we look at the very top here, we have PTF, which is the Invesco Dorsey Wright Tech Momentum ETF. It has only 43 stocks and it has 100% in tech. And as you can see, the green here in the performance over the last 5 years has done pretty well. By the way, if you want to follow along, I put a list of all the stocks that I'm referring to in a spreadsheet on my website, and you can see all of the charts and click on the images to see which ones, how well each did, and so forth. So check that out. And we also have XLK, which is the S&P 500 Sector Select Index, and this is also 100% tech. Okay, I'm just going down the list. XNTK, 72% tech. QQQ, 59% tech. The Vanguard, MGK is the Vanguard US Mega Cap Growth Index. It has 61% tech. SPMO, which is the S&P 500 Momentum Index, it has 100 stocks and it has 39% in tech. We've got XLG here below, which is 43% in tech. And we have the SoFi Social 50 SFYF. It has 50 stocks. And I don't know the percentage in tech because this changes monthly, but it's the top holdings of the SoFi. This invests in the top 50 holdings held by SoFi Invest customers, and it changes monthly, but it seems to be mostly tech. SPHQ is the next one, which is the S&P 500 Quality Index. It has 102 stocks, 33% in tech. And right below, I've got the reference one that I've added, the Vanguard S&P 500 Index, VOO. It has 31% in tech. So far, this is working out pretty well. As you can see, it's basically the highest percent tech at the top. And in every case here, it's gone down. We can keep going down further. I'm going to skip some of these here. The very bottom is SPYD. At the very bottom here, we've got the SPYD, which is the SPDF Portfolio S&P 500 High Dividend ETF. It has 82 stocks and only 8% in tech. 8%, so not very much. As we go up, DVY is the iShares Select Dividend. It has 100 stocks and only roughly 3% in tech. So as you can see, the ones at the bottom, not very much tech, and tech has done well in the last 5 or 10 years, so we can see the results pretty clearly. DJD, which is the Invesco Dow Jones Industrial Average Dividend, 27 stocks, 16% tech. And above it, you've got the Charles Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. It has 103 stocks, only 9% tech. Okay, so this was the 5-year. Let's look at the 10-year. I'm actually going to have to drop this to 8 years because some of these were not available 10 years ago. This is an 8-year period that I've selected. So we're looking at the same stocks, pretty much the same story. PTF's number 1 at 510%, XLK 434%, QQQ 380, the Vanguard Mega Cap MGK 322%. So pretty much the same story. Even the high dividend ones, even if we adjust for dividends, it doesn't really change anything. We have the Vanguard S&P 500 right here in red. It's kind of middle of the road, 192% return for the 8-year period. it has 31% in tech. And most of these below, these all have less tech than the Vanguard S&P 500. Everything above it has more tech than the S&P 500. Even XLG, it has 43% in tech. FDN has, this is the First Trust Dow Jones Internet Index. It has 37% in tech, so definitely higher than 31% that the P500 has. All of these were fairly consistent. The only one that didn't behave consistently was this one here in purple, XITK, which is the SPDR Fact Set Innovative Technology ETF. It has 99 stocks and 100% in tech. Unfortunately, the stocks that they've selected, they're very unique and it hasn't worked out in its favor. Now, although the FactSet Innovative Technology ETF invests in 100% tech, if we look at the stocks here, it's got a bunch of stocks that a lot of them don't have at the top, like AppLovin. This is the #1 holding at 6.52%. And you'll probably notice a lot of these companies you probably haven't heard of, like Q2, Toast, and some others. Normally you don't see Spotify near the top either. So this one just hasn't worked out as well as the other. But everyone else that had 100% tech, it was near the top of the list. So in conclusion, none of these small stock holding ETFs has been able to beat the high tech winners. So there's no magical ETF that beats the 100% tech ETFs. XLK and QQQ are still near the top, and the worst performers have been the ones with the least amount of tech. So it's a little bit of a disappointment, but it is what it is. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll put a link to the website where you can look at this in detail if you want also. Have a good one.